time last year, I was with Fiona in a beautiful venue just by Epping Forest, with 10,000-year-old ancient woodland in the UK. We were sitting in the conservatory, complimentary drink in hand, looking out onto a lovely lake. There were even some alpacas gently grazing. We were discussing hiring the venue for an upcoming event, what food we wanted, hot or cold buffet, how long we'd need the space for, when the organiser asked us what date we wanted. That's not something we knew, that anyone knew. Although, in Fiona's case, we had some idea. As her end-of-life celebrant, I was there to help Fiona. I was there to help her to go to find her venue for her wake, having just been to the natural burial ground nearby to look at her final resting place. Again, no date. Fiona was getting prepared for her death. Her breast cancer had returned and she'd been given 6 months to a year. Fiona was getting prepared. We can't argue with death, so why not prepare for it? Are you curious? Would you like to know what's going to happen at your funeral? The words, the music. Would you love to be a fly on the wall? Would you maybe like to tell some people what you really thought about them? To quote Benjamin Franklin, there are 2 things most certain in this life: death and taxes. I know, a cliche. We can cheat one, and some people do, but we can't cheat the other. So why not be prepared for it? None of us know when we're going to die or how. It could be old age, it could be an accident or suddenly, or a diagnosis. Why not be prepared for it? And how we prepare for it means different things to different people. Letting people know that you don't want everything in place is also preparing. It's all about not leaving your loved ones in limbo when you die. Giving them a chance to grieve without having the stress of worry of knowing whether they are doing the right thing. Thanatophobia. That's fear of death and dying. Thanatophobia. Why is it that our society have become fearful of death and dying? Why? It could be advances in medicine. Expectations have shifted over the years. Death is not seen what it actually is, a natural part of life, the end point of being born. It's seen as a defeat. And anything less than heroic measures to keep someone breathing is seen as a failure. In her book, The American Way of Death, Jessica Mitford said, Americans believe death is optional. It's not. But not just Americans, anyone in the Western world that could be attributed to. As a funeral celebrant, I go to the National Funeral Exhibition in the UK. Yes, there is such a thing, where they showcase so many different methods of leaving this earth when we die. Literally, your ashes can be put into a firework and blasted into the sky, but even higher, 100,000 feet above the earth, where they are released to travel around the atmosphere before seeding into a cloud and then coming down as rain or snow all over the world. Now that is extreme. They can be made into a diamond, a piece of jewellery for your loved one to wear, a glass ornament mixed with earth and wild flower seeds and planted in a garden. There are so many choices. Or you can simply have the funeral you want with words and messages for those left behind. Some people have a will. And yes, that's really important. But I'm not talking about that. That's the finances. I'm talking about the emotions, letting everybody know exactly what you want when they say goodbye. Now, this idea came to me a number of years ago when I was working as a fundraiser in a local hospice, working with a lovely lady who was dying of ovarian cancer. She was determined to do as much as she could for the hospice that had supported her through her illness. We organised some great events together. She raised a lot of money. As she became more poorly, she was asked if she would like to arrange to have donations in lieu of flowers at her funeral. And her response? Absolutely not. I've done enough fundraising and I love flowers. I want as many flowers as possible at my funeral. She declared what she wanted. She made it clear, and that's what she got. She took control of her life and her death. So that got me thinking. If we are open about talking about death, making plans, making decisions around our own funerals, if we normalise it, it can be made so much easier when someone close dies because it's been talked about. And not just if we have a terminal diagnosis like Fiona. Let's all do it. Now, this is not a new concept. We, as humans, have always been curious about death. Look at the Stoics, an ancient Greek school of thought. They believed that death should not be feared because it is natural and it's going to come to all of us throughout at some point in our lives. Worrying about fearing death will only make us miserable. And the British royal family, they planned for their funerals right down to the last detail and even give them a name. Operation London Bridge for the late Queen Elizabeth II. Operation Menai Bridge for King Charles. Yes, preparations are already underway. Actually, Fiona had a soft spot for the royals and also for Winnie the Pooh. She named her preparations Operation Pooh Sticks Bridge. Isn't that lovely? And if you're not comfortable talking to a loved one about it, ask someone, a friend, a professional, someone you can trust to make sure what you want to happen at your funeral is what's going to happen. Some people do have these conversations. People of faith may talk to their rabbi, imam, priest. But in this increasingly secular society, that's not something everybody has or wants. In my experience shows me that it makes it so much easier for loved ones, for family, when they know they are doing the right thing, either having had that conversation with their loved one before they died or having seen note of it. It makes the whole process so much easier. It is less scary, more able to cope with, and it allows you to grieve. Grief is such a big part of death. With everything else already talked about, grieving can become the main focus that it should be, a natural human emotion that affects us all in different ways. Our loved ones, our family, can get on with their grieving, knowing that the funeral is going to be exactly as wanted. This can make such a difference. Now, I mentioned Fiona. I sent what I'm saying today to her family, just to make sure that they were okay with it. And they were. In fact, her son Freddie sent me a note, and this is what it said. The fact that my mum was able to talk about death has certainly given me the space to grieve. And the words in your talk are certainly things that more people should hear. I've seen how it affects people when they don't know what their loved ones want. I've seen how it affects people when they do. Fiona died 10 months after that prognosis. Her funeral was in April. It was beautiful, just what she wanted. It was poignant. She had asked family and friends if they'd like to get up to talk. Didn't want to know what they were going to say, just wanted to give everyone the opportunity. Fiona died happy in the knowledge that so many people wanted to honour her, and in return, they were honoured with a personal message from her delivered by me as her spokesperson. It was such a celebration of her life. It was exactly what she wanted. Even the very big red flamboyant hat that I was wearing was her choice. She loved it. With practicalities dealt with, as Freddie said, the family were able to get on with their grieving. Oh, and there was one very, very special reason for choosing that natural burial ground in Epping. Steve, her husband, flies a light aircraft out of a local airport. So every time he takes to the sky, he'll be flying over her. Beautiful. So that's why it's really important to talk about death. We can't argue with it, but we can plan for it. We can make the process so much easier for our loved ones. And not just when death is imminent. It's important for everyone, whatever your age, whatever your health situation. Normalise it, talk about it, park it. None of us know what's going to happen in this life. Prepare for your death, then live your life. Thank you.